Hey man, that Nashville is lovely, man. It's a good city, man. It's a lot of opportunity. It's growing super fast, and before the lockdown, Nashville was the number one city in the country where people came to have a bachelorette party, man.
Wow.
Bachelor party. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's a pretty happening spot, actually, man. So. Yeah, you in Johannesburg, right?
Yeah. I'm based in Johannesburg, in Gauteng, the city of gold.
Okay.
City of gold.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about who is Bill McCleskey. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hey, I'm an entrepreneur, man. I started a company about 6.5 years ago called MITECH. And it's an IT company, a technology company, and we work primarily in telecommunications. But I started that company because I worked for the largest cable company in the U.S., a company called Comcast. And I just saw an opportunity, man, and, went for it. So we built a company that's pretty much a telecom brokerage, and we represent multiple carriers, and really grew that company to $1 million plus annual revenue company. And still growing, to this day, man, doing business with, our government and a lot of other businesses all over the country, man.
Wow.
I'm super excited about that.
Sure. So I want to tap in terms of duplicating the idea that is already there. Because most of the time, entrepreneurs think they have to come up with new idea, groundbreaking in terms of them being successful entrepreneurs. When you started MITECH Partners, is it something that was happening there at Comcast? And then how did you do things differently when you started MITECH?
Yeah, I mean, so in the space that we're in, it's it's a huge industry, right? And sometimes the business opportunity is not necessarily coming up with a new idea, but it's coming up with a new way to help the client solve their problem. It's kind of like Uber. Uber really didn't come up with a new idea, but they came up with a new way to solve the problem. Somebody needs to get from point A to point B, and they don't have transportation, right? So Uber said, well, instead of getting a taxi, there's issues with that. Hey, why don't we, just enable people to use their own cars and get people around? So, they kind of went around, they circumvented, the normal or traditional way of thinking, and saw an opportunity there. So that's what happened with me, man. I was selling internet service to businesses, and I was selling phone service to businesses, and representing, this one company. And what I saw was my customers coming to me saying, hey, I want to shop multiple carriers. There's other carriers that I can shop, and, being an employee, I could only sell one.
Yes.
But I just said to myself, why don't I represent multiple carriers? The customer comes to me, they shop all the carriers with one company. It saves the customer a lot of time, and it still solves their problem, but it solves it quicker. So, the goal is to be more efficient, to be more simplistic, and to solve that problem quicker for the customer.
Wow. That's amazing. So what are some of the lessons or missed opportunities by the Comcast when you are there working there as an employee? Did you feel that you were somehow restricted in terms of how you go about getting your customers, and you feel like it's for me here, I need to leave?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the main thing was I could only represent one carrier. I could only represent one provider. So I was just, bona fide salesperson. I was a sales professional. But at the end of the day, I wanted to be a consultant. And sometimes I really wasn't helping my customer, because sometimes my solution wasn't the right fit for the customer. And I would say, hey, you really need to go somewhere else or go to another provider, to solve your problem. But as a broker, I represent all the carriers. So I think that at the end of the day, man, one size doesn't fit all, And the thing about Comcast, too, is Comcast is a huge company, but for me as an employee, they only enabled me to work in certain zip codes. So I had a certain territory that I could sell. So I was very limited on who I could sell to, what industry I could sell to. And so I'll give you an example. I couldn't sell to education. I couldn't sell to schools when I worked at Comcast. I couldn't sell to the government, when I worked at Comcast. But I was running across those opportunities, but I either had to give them away or I had to do something else, with that lead or that opportunity. But now in my own business, I can tackle everything. So it leaves no limitations for me, and it just enables me to create an opportunity where I can really help customers no matter what place they are in their business.
Okay. Let's talk about the Grind Includes Friday. That's one of the things that made me follow you. So let's talk about that. How did that come about? And what is it about?
Man. So it came about out of MITECH, actually. So within MITECH, the way that we sell is through other IT companies, right? So IT companies that don't sell telecom, they sell telecom through us. So if one of their customers needs internet or phone service for a business, then they call us and they sell that service through us. So I realized that working with a lot of IT consultants, they were good at technology, but they didn't know how to sell. So I realized that, hey, if I give them some tools on learning how to sell, the mindset of becoming a great communicator and building a business, if I help their business, it's going to help our business grow in return. So I started doing these videos every Friday, man, and I just dropped, a 4 or 5 minute video, and it's called The Grind Includes Friday. Because what happens with salespeople is on Friday, we think, hey, it's the end of the week. Let me chill out. I'm going to work half a day, get ready for the weekend. And, man, the high achievers know, hey, listen, I got to stay on the grind through Friday, right? So that's why I call it the Grind Includes Friday. And it kind of just blew up, man. Not only was it great for those IT consultants, but it's great for anybody who's an entrepreneur or a salesperson and who wants to really grow their business and make money. So we've been doing that for over 2 years, man. Every single Friday, we drop the Grind Includes Friday, and we started doing sales boot camps, helping sales professionals learn how to grind and sell to their customer. And we just released, we're about to release this coming Friday, 7 Steps to 7 Figures. So it's an online course that shows the journey and the roadmap of how I started from zero with just me and built a team and built my company to a 7-figure business. So we're excited about that.
Wow. So are you saying 7 Steps to 7 Figures is one of the tools that are being produced under Grind Includes Friday? So who is it for, these 7 Steps to 7 Figures? Who is it for?
Yeah, it's really for entrepreneurs, man, or what I like to call solopreneurs, because it's the makeup of when I started my company. It was just me. It was me on the phone every day trying to make calls and set appointments and things like that. And then I eventually grew my clientele. I grew my customer base. I grew my team. And I started making money. I would invest back into my business and just grew to a 7-figure business. It took me about 4 years to do that. But when I look back, man, 4 years really ain't a long time. People go to university for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
And they don't come out with a 7-figure business.
Nope.
So that's who the course is for, man. I think it's for solopreneurs who have an idea and they're out here grinding, trying to make money, and they want to build this thing to something substantial.
All right. So where can they join in and for the bootcamp that is happening?
Yeah, just go to the website 7steps7figures.com. And we got a lot of different programs. Well, not a lot, but a handful of programs with the Grind Includes Friday. And so we have an accountability group, and that's a small group of entrepreneurs, and we jump on a call every morning, and we hold each other accountable to our monthly goals and our daily goals. We got the sales boot camp, which is usually a one-time event every other month. And then, we're releasing the online course. And then we've got some other online books, or e-documents or e-books that we release. But they can find all that at thegrindincludesfriday.com.
Wow.
So, a lot of times people say TGIF, it means thank God it's Friday. But really, TGIF to us is thegrindincludesfriday.com. So everything is there at that particular website.
Wow, I love that. Because most of marketing and sales people on Friday they go like, no, we are on the ground, meaning that now they're gonna go to the restaurant and chill and spend time there and there.
Right.
All right. So let's talk about the book, Get Off Your Asset, that you launched. Yeah, tell me about that. Yeah. Tell us about this book and the inspiration.
Man. I actually wrote this book, Get Off Your Assets, primarily because I was talking to a lot of my buddies who were entrepreneurs, and I wrote the book when my company. I wrote it a few years ago when my company was about at $500,000 a year, you know. So I started having some success, and you know, I started getting some accolades and things like that. And it seemed like every day, man, or every other day, I was sitting down talking to an entrepreneur and, you know, giving them feedback or advice on what to do with their business, you know. And inevitably, I would realize that, you know, most entrepreneurs think starting a business is about selling a product, right, or selling a service. You know, it's about getting customers. And in reality, it's not. You know, growing a business is really about becoming a different person, you know, and it's about harnessing the assets or the qualities that we already have and really maximizing those qualities. And, you know, some entrepreneurs think, hey, I need to raise money to build my business, or I need more contacts to build my business, or I need these other resources. And that's not true. What we really need is what we already have, you know. And I think that's the innate qualities or gifts that God has already blessed us with. We just got to, you know, recognize them. We have to access them and then start to develop them. And the story is the same with me, man. I thought I needed to raise money. I thought I needed all this other stuff, but I didn't have it. And I said, I'm just going to go for it and use my work ethic, use my intelligence, you know, use the gifts that I already have. And so that's why I wrote the book, man, because I think if people realize that, you know, they'll realize, listen, everything that I need, I actually already have, you know. Yeah. So I mean that's the story of the book. And
hence the title. Hence, I love the title. Get off your assets. It means you already have the assets. You just need to get.
You already got them. Yep, you got to get off of them though. You know what I mean? Somebody once said, man, the richest place in the world is the cemetery.
I think that's Les Brown.
Die there with their dreams, you know.
I'm seeing that's Les Brown, right?
Is it Les Brown? I don't know. It might be. Yeah, that sounds like Les Brown though, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the materials, the topic that you cover in this book, because I'm really interested in this book. What are some of the topics that specifically that entrepreneurs should look for in the book, and why specifically those?
Yeah, definitely. So like I said, it's 12 chapters, right? So, and there are 12 principles, I think, you know, principles of success, you know, and one of them is, you know, work ethic, you know what I mean? And I talk about, you know, when I started my company, how my work ethic was, you know, what type of regimen I was going through every day. And I joke with people, I tell them, hey, I worked 8 to faint, you know what I mean? I got up in the morning, I was working until I fainted. And that's not literally true. But my point is, I was willing to push through, you know, what I thought was my wall or what I thought was my you know, my cap.
Yes.
And because, man, most times there's a concept out here called the 40% rule. And the 40% rule means, you know, you work, and then you get exhausted and you think you can't give any more. You can't put any more in. You're really only at 40% at that point. And it's a mental game, right? You actually have 60% more capacity in you. So once we understand true work ethic and actually getting out there and pushing ourselves to stretch and grow, that's something that causes us to look within and reach within. So that's actually the first principle I believe in the book. You know, another one is discipline pays dividends. You know, I love saying that on our videos,
absolutely.
The Grind Includes Friday videos. But, you know, discipline pays dividends because, you know, most people these days, man, they're easily distracted, right? I mean, you know, we got IG, we got Facebook, we got all this stuff to distract us, and we don't stay focused enough. But I found out that when I was building my business, man, I would do these things like block off 1 hour of time, and for 1 hour, I would make calls and do nothing else but make calls. I wouldn't answer emails. I wouldn't check my voicemail. You know, I would, even if somebody sent me a message and said, hey, man, I'm ready to sign up and become a new customer, I wouldn't even answer that until I got done with my hour. You know, just staying super focused like that really helped me. And I would do that 3 times a day. So I take 1 hour, and 3 times a day I would do nothing but prospect or follow up or prepare proposals or do my research. And that type of discipline, I believe, really paid me dividends because it developed, you know, me to develop some focused intensity, man, to build a company.
Wow.
So those are just a couple of points in the book. But again, it's 12 of them and 12 principles that we use to this day, man, in our company at MITECH.
Wow, that's amazing, man. All right, let's talk about the accolades that your company took. Tell us about some of the accolades that you guys took at Nashville, Tennessee, as recognized as, I think, 2018. what are those accolades that you guys took as a company, MITECH partner?
What services do we offer?
No. The accolades, the one, the awards or the recognition that you got from Nashville.
Oh yeah. I think in 2016 we were recognized as Business of the Year by the Chamber of Commerce in Nashville, Tennessee, and in 2018 we were recognized as the 16th largest minority company in Nashville. So every year there's a publication here called Nashville Business Journal, and the Nashville Business Journal ranks all the companies based on their industry, and then they rank all the minority companies. So 2018 we were number 16. Actually 2019 we were number 10. So according to their data and research, we're the 10th largest minority company in Nashville right now. We're still growing, man. I think we're just getting started. There's some things that we want to do. We want to get into the acquisition market, so we want to start buying other companies kind of like us to grow through acquisition. And obviously, we want to expand our team. But at the end of the day, man, we really want to make an impact, So the name of the game is, you don't just grow a business to make money, man. You gotta make an impact. So we're looking forward to doing some charitable things and helping out, students who want to go to school and work in technology and things like that.
Okay, let's talk about the impact of COVID-19 that it has on your business and industry as a whole, and also other businesses. How has COVID-19 affected your business and industry in terms of how you do business and everything?
The business specifically has really impacted our business positively. It's kind of interesting because COVID-19 has forced a lot of companies, and we only work B2B. We only work with businesses, but it's forced a lot of businesses to have to go virtual, right? So when we first got our lockdown, a lot of our customers, we had to help go virtual, like call centers and other types of companies. They had no setup for their employees to work at home, So we had to, get them phone equipment and phone service and make sure they had adequate internet, at their homes and all this stuff, making sure they had the right security for internet and the virtual private networks and things like that. So it really kept us super busy. And for us, back in 2019, towards the end of the year, I made a decision that MITECH, our whole company, our whole staff was going virtual.
Wow.
So I had no idea COVID-19 was coming. I had no idea the lockdown was coming. But, something in me said, you know what? A lot of our team is always out in the field. We have this office space, but nobody was rarely in the office. You know what I mean? I'll come to the office every day, but I'm out and about. I got meetings and stuff. And half of my team, I enabled them to work from home 2 days a week, and they're responsible. I got a great team. So everybody's working and getting their work done. And at the end of last year, I said, you know what? Everybody's just going to work at home, 100%. Like, let's just work at home. So I kept some small space in an office building where we are downtown Nashville. And, because I like getting out of the house and going to the office. But then COVID-19 hit. So for us, it really didn't affect how we do business because we were already virtual. We were already, working from home. And we do business all over the country, but we don't necessarily have to travel. We're always doing virtual meetings. We're always plugging in on Zoom or whatever, to connect with our customers or partners and potential customers. So for us, man, we were already set up. And sometimes I think that, it's just that gut feeling that you have that you should do something. You don't know why you should do it, but you just follow through with it. And I was just listening to, the universe or if you will, to say, hey, man, go ahead and let's go virtual. And then boom, this hit. And I was like, wow, we were already ready. We were already in place. So it kind of lined up perfectly for us.
Speaking of the gut feeling and stuff, like I think that's, according to your book, that's where actually everything starts. Follow your gut feeling, for everything else will fall in place. Whatever, like you don't have to have a plan. Just go, do it.
Yep.
Would I be right if that's a message also coming from your book also in the beginning?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was working at this big cable company at Comcast, and I had a gut feeling then. Something kept telling me, and listen, I was making more money than I ever made in my life. So it wasn't like I need more money, I need this. Man, I was killing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something I just wasn't fulfilled, and something in me said you really need to start a company and you need to solve these problems. You need to do it this way. And I think that's why I love the title, man. Get off your assets, because if we listen, if we recognize that voice, and if we listen, oh man, trust your gut. It can prove to be a powerful, insightful quality that we have. So, and I work to listen to myself like every day now. I started meditating a few years ago, man, and I'm super intentional about this because as we slow down and get silent, and just spend some time with ourselves, we'll understand that there's an infinite intelligence within us. And if we listen to that voice, man, a lot of the answers are actually there. We just got to have the courage sometimes to follow it.
Absolutely. Entrepreneurship, it's hard. You have to have courage. I think I can relate in terms of that, because I also, this podcast that we're doing right now, like, it's been in my mind for the longest time to come and do this.
Yeah.
So what happened was that I used to go and visit and go to places. We chill, we drink coffee, we drink tea, then we talk. Then COVID-19 happened. Then now I can't go visit people. I can't go, and I had to start and doing this. And I was like, okay, I don't have that huge following. You know what I mean? I cannot pull the numbers through in and stuff like that. But I just followed my gut through. And then I saw your message through my DM. I'm like, okay, there's something here.
There you go. Yeah, no doubt. How long have you been doing this podcast here?
The live started this year, just after COVID-19. Actually, you are my second guest here.
Gotcha.
So I've been doing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then I appreciate your agreement to be here, man. It means a lot to me, because it's something that's something that I've wanted to do for a long time.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Now, moving from me now to you again, any messages to entrepreneurs that you want to say? The inspiring entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Well, hey, aspiring entrepreneurs. So there's two things. Number one, what we just talked about, trust your gut.
Yes.
Like we can't say that enough. And I was reading something last week about what are some things that I would have told my younger self. And one of them was trust your gut. Like every time I didn't trust my gut, I ended up in the wrong place. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing that I would say. But the second thing I would say is to aspiring entrepreneurs is understand that entrepreneurship is a mindset first. It starts off with a certain way of thinking. And we got to understand that entrepreneurship is not just, hey, I got a product, I want to sell it. I got a service and I want to sell it and I want to make money. Entrepreneurs understand that they're filling in a gap, right? And they're building a system. They're building a machine that's going to one day run without them. It's going to one day run independent of them, and that should be the goal of every entrepreneur, to build something that can flourish, that can thrive without them being a part of it, okay? And I had this conversation last week with some friends of mine, and I was saying, as an entrepreneur, I don't need a paycheck, because my buddy was telling me, hey, I have a business on the side, but I also have a job, but I'm going to leave my job when my business pays me X amount of dollars. And I was saying, that's really, I understand what you're saying. Like, I get it, right? But that's an employee mindset, because an employee wants the security. The employee mindset seeks security, whereas the entrepreneur mindset seeks the very opposite of security. They don't seek security. They create assets, right? They create opportunity that pays them over and over again. And that's that machine that's going to continue to run and operate independent of them. So what I would recommend for aspiring entrepreneurs is to get an education, read books about entrepreneurship, follow entrepreneurs who are out here crushing it, and just learn those skills and start to develop the entrepreneur mindset, because it's not going to happen overnight. If you're like me, I grew up in a household where both of my parents worked jobs, and they trained me to go to university, get a job, and make money, and all this stuff, right? So I had to constantly, educate and feed my mind with entrepreneur principles and hang around other entrepreneurs so I could develop that mindset. So that's the biggest message I would give, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs, you know, and I think it's people that they want to be an entrepreneur and they may even be making money, but sometimes it doesn't last because we haven't understood that entrepreneurs need to develop their right mindset. And it's a constant, it's a journey. You know, like that saying says, success is a journey, not a destination. So developing the right mindset of psychology is actually a journey. We got to constantly be feeding ourselves as entrepreneurs if we're going to stay in the game and advance.
All right. Speaking of making money and now it finishing in like that, let's talk about the event company that you owned back in the days. Would you say some of the failures that were part of because you're not mentally prepared? What would you say in terms of the lessons you took from there in that event company? Were you ready mentally?
Absolutely. I think it's those two things I just mentioned. Number one, I didn't listen to my gut, and number two, I wasn't ready, like mentally. You know, the thing about, you know, if you look at a lot of successful entrepreneurs, you'll see that they started like other companies and had failures, right? And it's kind of like, you know, I equate it to being in a relationship, right? You know, when I was in college, I dated young ladies and the relationship didn't work out. And then when I graduated from college, I dated some more young ladies. The relationship didn't work out. But all along, I'm learning, okay, how do I I'm learning myself, right? Who I am, what I want, but I'm also learning how to navigate in a relationship too. And now, you know, when I met my wife and we started dating, I was like, oh, I figured a bunch of stuff out, but I had a lot of failures along the way, you know? So it's kind of the same thing with entrepreneurship. If you're not, you know, groomed up in entrepreneurship, then guess what? You know, you probably don't know what you're doing. And so for me, like I said, both my parents, they weren't entrepreneurs. I went to, you know, university. They didn't train me to be an entrepreneur. They trained me to get a job, right? So when I said I want to start a business, man, I started so many businesses and failed, but every single one of them taught me. I was able to take all the knowledge from those previous failures and use them in the MITECH, and it really helped me make more money. Now, I think that it's like learning how to walk, man. When you see a baby trying to walk, that baby is you know, taking one step and then they fall and they get. But now that we're adults, we walk without even thinking, and that's what we need to get to when it comes to entrepreneurship, man. Some entrepreneurs out here, they got it, you know, because we understand that. Listen. You know, I already had this mindset, and we can make it happen either way.
Man. Yo, that's some powerful nuggets right there, man. We are almost out of time because we are only doing 30 minutes here. So, one last thing. Let's talk about in terms of what do you understand in terms of Africa? Where part of Africa do you know, or have you visited Africa before?
Hey, listen, man. Let me tell you, I never been to Africa. Okay, my dad has been to Africa several times. We actually, where we attend church, we used to own a school in Nigeria, in Uyo, Nigeria, Akwa Ibom State, and my dad's been there, you know, probably 10 or 11 times. He's been to Mozambique and Cameroon and some other countries in Africa. But in fact, man, you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I was supposed to come to Cape Town. Me and my wife were supposed to come to Cape Town in April last month to a conference, okay? And it's an entrepreneur conference too, man. I'm a part of this international organization called Entrepreneurs Organization. So it's an international group, and I'm in the Nashville chapter here. But I was going to the international conference, and of course, COVID-19 came. So they canceled the conference and stuff. So that was going to be my first trip, man, to Africa. I was coming to South Africa, Cape Town, and but yeah, we can't make it now. So but yeah, man.
No, man. Stay hopeful. You're gonna come this side. You're gonna come this side, and we're gonna meet, man. We're gonna meet.
Definitely. Hey, you ever been to the U.S.?
No, I've never.
No. Okay.
So hopefully I'll.
Hey, let me know when you come. No, we coming to Africa though, man. We coming next year, man. We said we gotta come next year. This was a great opportunity for us, because the conference, they actually paid for our registration and they paid for the travel.
Wow.
So all we had to do was pay for like our hotel and stuff. So it was a great opportunity, but COVID-19 messed that up. So we're gonna figure it out, man, and we're gonna probably get over there next year for sure. Though.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be over. This thing's gonna be over. It's gonna be over soon.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah.
So, in terms of what is happening with the US and the COVID-19, how is everything? How is you see everything unfolding with COVID-19? How is the government?
I mean, I think it's progressing, man. In terms of us getting back to the normal state of things. I don't think we'll ever get back to where we were in terms of the normal state of things, but we're starting to open the country back up. Some cities more than others, but where I live in Nashville, we're opening up in phases. So right now we're in phase 1, where obviously the essential businesses are open, and then some of the non-essential businesses are starting to open too. So like the barbershops and the salons and even the mall, man, the mall is open. So stores are starting to open back up, but they only allow a limited number of people in each store, and you still have to social distance. But that's it, man. We're in phase 1 now. I think phase 2 starts next month, and it's a couple of weeks, and then we go to phase 3 and phase 4. So I'm optimistic, about us opening back up and getting back on track. But I think one thing that's really happened because of this pandemic is businesses, looking from a business standpoint, businesses have started to make technology a priority. Whereas before, it was kind of secondary or things like that. So now it's really helped our business. But I think it's going to help all of us, long term, because we know that, hey, we can connect virtually if we have the right tools and the right technology in place. So that not only helps our business, but I think it helps businesses in general in terms of how they do business, so we can connect, really, we can condense the time frames on which we connect with people to grow our companies.
All right, man. Man, I appreciate your time and insightful in terms of entrepreneurship. Yeah, man, it shows that you've been in the ground, doing the work on the ground, and now, you're up there on top. And I wish you all the best with MITECH Partners. And
thanks for the opportunity, man. And let's stay connected. And I'm telling you, when I come through, I'm gonna holler at you.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, and we can drink some Rooibos tea in South Africa.
Hey, that'll work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate the opportunity. I thank you for time. People are coming in. We are ending, unfortunately. So any last words for people?
Hey, man, everybody just stay encouraged, man. Stay encouraged.
Absolutely.
Follow your gut and continue to educate. Continue to feed your mind, with things that are going to empower you.
Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate the opportunity.
You got it, man.
All right.
Have a good one, bro.
Thank you so much.
See you.
Cheers. Yeah, man. I hope you took something home. You learned a thing or two. And please check out the Grind Includes Friday website.com so that you can, enroll in some programs that are up there for someone. Oh man, people are coming in. For you inspiring entrepreneurs and the sales and marketing peeps that just wanna, improve your sales. Thank you so much to Bill for his time and insightful in terms of business. We appreciate that. Sure. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Till next Friday. Good night.